Social Media Breakfast number 39. That has no sexual connotations. That's 16. And we're going to be talking about YouTube on a shoestring budget today. So a little bit about us. Social Media Breakfast is a place where anybody, I already said this, doesn't matter your experience level, come on by. Our guests will be sharing their experience and expertise in the realm of social media related things. And this is also your chance to network with other like-minded individuals. So please hang out afterwards, meet a few people, have coffee. Oh, and I'm sorry about the crew, guys. That's totally on me. This month's sponsor is Inform. They're who you can thank for the food and the coffee, and the lack of cream is still on me. I'd like to have Sheldon come up and talk to you a little bit about what Inform does.
Do I need the mic?
I don't know, can you project?
Can everybody hear me if I talk like this? Everybody? Cool.
Can they hear you on that?
Can you hear me over there?
It might be good.
Sorry, dude.
And
Yeah?
I feel like I'm at a talk show. So, is that good? Perfect. So, I'm Sheldon from Inform. We've actually never been to a social media breakfast before. This is our first time. It's not my first time. I've actually met quite a few of you probably at my last role. But basically what I'm going to do is you're probably not too familiar with Inform or what we do. So I just want to take a couple minutes and kind of explain who we are, what we do, that sort of thing. So at Inform, we are a user experience consultancy. So we work exclusively in user experience. So when you hear things like information architecture, usability testing, persona development, things like that, that's what we do every single day. So if you guys have any questions on any of that stuff, I'm the guy you want to talk to. And the types of organizations that we work with are generally enterprise level. So a lot of different stakeholders, a lot of different user groups, and a lot of complexity. Sometimes the sites that we work on are thousands of pages, thousands of documents, and it's our job to kind of go through and make sense of all that stuff. So we also do a lot of work with intranets, and we have an Intranets Foundations workshop that we do. We've done one in Edmonton, one in Victoria, and we also have one more coming up in Calgary fairly soon, I think, May 12th. Cool. So I'll leave it at that. If you have any questions on anything, come find me, or Karen as well is here, and enjoy the food and enjoy the breakfast.
Thank you, Sheldon. He's so modest. He also volunteers with Social Media Breakfast sometimes. He's a giving person. As so are our farmers. These are people who support Social Media Breakfast through donations and other types of support. We've got Genome Alberta, who's sponsored our website. Green Cloud Productions on audio-visual today. So they're the ones who are making our new YouTube videos that are going up. Startup Edmonton for the wonderful space. And Sounddesk, which we don't have set up this time, but we will next time, doing live tweets. The committee, as you can see, is one person short. Steve has defected to Calgary. So that's why I'm talking to you today. So if you'd like to be the new face of social media, come and talk to us. Jackie's in Panama. You won't see her today. We all feel very sorry for Jackie, right? Being in Panama right now. Yeah, sure. I'm Tammy Lee, and Peter Wiegren is the tall person in the back who was probably checking people in. So, aside from the forgotten cream, Inform is generous enough to buy you all breakfast. And you can do that too. For $295, you will get to address our audience for a maximum of 5 minutes. You get all sorts of signage and stuff prior to the event, and you will feed our attendees. Feel free to contact us. Little housekeeping items. Bathrooms are outside this door, take a right, and they're straight at the back through the sliding barn door. And please remember to pick up all of your garbage at the end, as we do have to reset the room for the next group of people. Etiquette. Because this is social media breakfast, of course you're encouraged to use all of your devices to tweet or Instagram or whatever you want to do for this event. Our hashtag is SMBYEG. And just make sure that you put your devices to vibrate so we don't have beep, 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 or whatever going off during the thing, which will of course get picked up on our lovely new camera now, and you'll be YouTube famous as being that guy or girl. Today's presentation is YouTube on a shoestring budget. How many people here have YouTube accounts, channels, anything like that? Okay, so some pretty good people. Adriel, we know you have one. And presenting today will be Adriel Michaud, who is also my boss. Please be nice to him.
So my name is Adriel Michaud. I'm a partner, and normally my day job is doing SEO and SEM at TopDraw. But that's not what I want to talk to you about today. Today I wanted to talk about YouTube. And I think YouTube is really cool, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about why. First, just a little bit of overview of what I'm going to be going over. I'm going to be going over kind of taking it all the way from not having a channel to building a channel, to optimizing your channel, some of the different settings that you might not have heard of, to some of the basic equipment you can use to up your game for low cost, and then getting into some questions. What I'm not going to go over, and what's kind of still really important, video editing, scripting, cinematography, all the creative stuff. That's going to be on you guys. That's going to be on what you're doing in your day-to-day and what you're doing on your channel. It varies quite a bit. I only have 45 minutes, so I've got to kind of fit in as much as possible. So I'm just going to be talking mostly about how to at least get a really nice channel going with good lighting, good sound, that kind of thing. Now, one of the things that I think is really cool about YouTube is that it's almost like a more democratized version of the internet. The internet by itself, anyone can make a website, anyone can put content out there. Doesn't mean you'll get hits. There's still a barrier to entry on the internet. You've got to build a website, you've got to maintain it, you've got to pay for hosting, you've got to get links from other websites. You've got to do a lot of that stuff that's kind of hard to do. It's not stuff that a lot of people find very accessible. That's why I have a job doing SEO. YouTube is very different. With YouTube, you're all on the same platform. You've all got the same shot at getting the same kind of fame if you put out good content and you do good promotion on YouTube. So that's why I think it's really cool. Just a couple of really quick stats. There's a ton of people on YouTube. Right now, they're servicing about 1 billion users a month. That's a lot. 6 billion hours of video. There's thousands of creators making 6 figures plus, and there's about 1 million channels. Now do the math on that. If you want to get rich doing YouTube, do the math here. You've got to be that one channel in 1,000 to make a living at this kind of thing, right? So look at your 1,000 competitors of channels and think about whether you can compete with them or not. The odds are low. In terms of Canada is actually really crazy awesome because we've got a lot of really high-speed internet. That leads to us using more internet. Now, this 74% of Canadians watching online video, that's not just your grandma on Netflix. This is YouTube specifically. 74% of Canadians. That's crazy, right? Average YouTube user, 32 hours a month. That's pretty crazy too, right? Not beating TV yet. TV is right around 30 hours a week. So about 4 times more still. We're getting there though. We're getting there. Some of the different uses, why different people use YouTube. The one I run into the most is business. That's because I'm talking to businesses a lot. From the business side of things, sometimes a YouTube video is better at describing a service than text on a page or images. Sometimes it's better for products. If you're doing like a retail product that consumers buy, it can be kind of difficult to show scale in an image. Something like a phone. If you wanted to buy a new cell phone and you were worried that it was too large, what would you like? Look at a picture of the phone next to a banana? Maybe if you're from Reddit. Or would you go on YouTube and check out what it looks like in an average person's hand, in an average person's pocket? That context is something that only video can capture, and it's something that a lot of businesses should be doing, is showing those products or services on YouTube. You can use it for thought leadership. You can use it for staff training. We've got some companies that we work with that use YouTube for training their staff. They record their training once, they use that video multiple times. Why have a trainer go through the same spiel one-to-one? It's archaic, it's totally out of date. Record that once, do a really good job recording it once, and then use it ongoing. Advertisement and promotion, of course. On the personal side of things, YouTube is actually a really cool way to interact or engage on a hobby or something that you're interested in. a topic that you really love and pushing it forward. And make a little bit of money at the same time. The one thing that YouTube's done that the internet hasn't, or at least it's a little bit more difficult to do on the internet, like just websites and that kind of thing, is make it easy to make a little bit of money doing what you love. And that has caused a whole pile of people to start creating content. So now we've got people filling all these niches out there on YouTube. They make a little bit of money. They're encouraged to make their video better, their content better, and to serve more niches out there. Kind of cool, right? This is adding more to the internet being like this collective knowledge of all of humankind, right? We're all adding to YouTube, we're all watching, and because these people are being because they're being paid, they're actually encouraged to do more of it than if they were just doing it out of pure altruism. And at the very least, that $50 or $100 they're making a month can go towards better gear instead of just using their smartphone all the time or their webcam or whatever. So a little bit about how to set up your channel. You could just dive into this and create a channel, but there's a couple of things that you might fall over that I wanted to talk about. This is what a YouTube channel looks like on YouTube, and everyone's seen this. And personally, if this was just any old YouTube channel, I wouldn't think much of this one. This guy makes $4 million a year playing video games. My mom told me I could never make money playing video games. She was wrong. She didn't know about YouTube. Yeah, this guy just plays video games. Anyways, a couple of things to see here. Right in the top right there, you see those links? You've got this one text link, and then you've got a couple of icons up here. So there is some possibility of doing some cross-promotion on YouTube, promoting your Twitter, promoting your social media, promoting your website. There's also your videos area, some spots where you can add in whatever channels or playlists you like, and you can customize this thing out, right? But first, let's just talk about creating in the first place. I've got a quick checklist here. Don't try to write down all these points. We'll make the presentation available afterwards. And besides, most of this stuff is just bullet point, do this kind of thing, right? When you're creating a channel, one of the things that Google did that a lot of people kind of disliked is they integrated their commenting system with Google+. YouTubers were pissed about this because YouTube by itself had like its own ecosystem. They didn't want it mashed in with Google+. Google did it anyways. Such is life. From my perspective, the way I look at it, I'm not going to fight Google on this thing. And the way they've got it set up right now, if you're a business or if you're looking at having multiple different users who are going to be engaging with your channel and maybe adding videos to it or responding to comments, you may want to start with a Google Plus page. And the reason is because it just makes it easier to integrate that Plus page with the YouTube channel and have managers of that Plus page. There's a bunch of other stuff because Google wants you to use Google Plus really, really badly, so they integrated a whole bunch of stuff. All I'm saying, the easiest, most stress-free way of starting one of these things, if you need multi-user management and all this other kind of stuff, is to start with the Google Plus page. If you're just going to do it for yourself, don't bother. Just make a YouTube channel and go. If you're logged in as the account that has access to a Google Plus page, you'll notice something like this. This is a customer account that I have access to, and you can see here I have this create channel when I'm logged into YouTube. So it wants me to create a channel that's associated with that Google Plus page. I'm not going to dive too much into this because I think Google Plus is a little bit stupid and the system is really, really, I don't know, weird. It's good job security because it's so weird. Once you've created your channel, there's a couple of different things you'll want to do so it doesn't look like crap. First things first, on your channel, on the front-facing side of things, I'm going to show you guys the front-facing part and then the back-facing part. This is kind of on the front end. And the first thing you'll want to do is add some images. There's an avatar in the top left. That's a 1-to-1. That's a square aspect ratio. You want to make sure it's big. Don't use like a really, really large image that's squeezed down and you can't really see the details. Make sure that it's going to be viewable when it's small. And then there's channel art as well. That's the big image in the back there. They use that for all the different devices that use YouTube. So you need to use a big, beautiful picture to make it so that it's going to look good on a bunch of different devices. Go to the About section and add in a description. Add in some links. Here you can see we can link over to Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, Facebook. The Google+ thing will be in there automatically. You may not see an edit button on this thing when you first get here. It's kind of like hiding over here. So if you've been on that page and you can't figure out how to edit that, it's hiding over there. Just move your mouse and it'll show up. And make your page look like this, I guess. Some other like kind of channel things that you might want to play with. Turn off features you don't want. There's a bunch built into YouTube that may not match with how you want to run your channel. If you're a business and you're in a sensitive sector, you may need to do things like turn commenting off, turn off liked videos as showing up in the feed, and that kind of thing. You may not want to be as social as YouTube is built up by default to handle. So that's the front end side of things. On the back end side of things, they've got this thing called Creator Studio. And I think it's kind of a weird name. They did this somewhat recently here. And I find it a weird name because who creates in the back end of YouTube? I upload all my stuff. I edit on my computer and then I upload over there. They have some capability to do some editing on YouTube, but aside from adding an audio track, I'd never use it for creating. Anyways, suffice to say, Creator Studio, that's the back end of YouTube. That's going to give you access to this back end dashboard that they have. Couple things to note. Video Manager, hey, that's where you upload and manage your videos. Community is really cool. That's where I want to say recently, but I think it's actually been 6 months. That's where you can engage with people who are commenting on your videos all in one spot. Used to be you'd have to go into the video, pause the video, go down to the comment, reply to the comment. Now you've got them all in one spot and you can just rapid fire respond to a whole pile of comments, which is really cool when your channel starts getting a lot of comments because you want to respond, you want to engage with people on it. This makes it a lot easier. One thing to note, you might find because they've got this Google+ commenting, YouTube commenting, there's some weird stuff going on in their commenting. It's not bulletproof yet, which is kind of funny from a company like Google and YouTube. But you might find that there's some comments you can't respond to. You might find some comments where you get a notification on your phone and then you can't actually comment, you can't see it when you get here. So there's a couple of weird things in there. Channel we'll talk about in a minute. That's where you do some setup things and then you never look at it ever again. Analytics shows you some really cool analytics on your video. And then Create is where you might want to add a soundtrack or something like that to your video. Otherwise, you'll probably never need it. Just a couple of things on more setup tasks on that checklist. If you verify your channel, it'll let you do videos longer than 15 minutes. YouTube doesn't want people uploading like movies to YouTube and doing them in big long chunks. So they actually limit out how long your videos can be until you verify. And if you want to, you can enable monetization, which lets you get paid. That's going to actually send that money to you when there's ads shown on your video. The first one, verifying, it's not all that difficult. There's our channel. There's that verify button that we see on the back end. And all we have to do, click that button, and they're just going to call you. They'll call you or text you. It'll be a robo voice. It'll be like, thank you for verifying. Here's your number. You type in the number. Everything's hunky-dory. Now you're verified. Getting into advanced settings, there's a couple of things that you can do on the back end on this, and I'd argue that you have to do a bunch of these. I really like the setting the country. The channel keywords are the keywords you want your channel to show up on. So these are the very broad key phrases that you think your channel is applicable for. That's a little bit of promotion that not a lot of people are doing. You can link to an AdWords account if you're doing advertising, like if you're a business. There's a couple of other options in here. Again, if you're a business, you may not want to have your business recommended if it's kind of like a private channel, and you may not want your subscriber count. So there's a couple of niggly options in the back here, but the ones that I really like, those channel keywords one, the country, and that kind of thing. And the other thing that you'll have to do is set up some upload defaults. There's a couple in here that, by default, the privacy is set to public, which is the dumbest option ever. Because why would you want to immediately upload a video and have it public when you don't have a chance to edit it, review it, add annotations, add a description, do all these other kind of things? So I'd argue everyone should have their privacy to unlisted. That's where, if you have the link, you can watch the video, but otherwise it's not published just yet. That gives you that last chance to go over things, see if they're okay, add annotations if you want to, or maybe see if play around with some of the editing in the back end. You can set a category. You can set if you want comments on the particular video by default, set language, and set if you want to show statistics. And this is what it looks like on the back end. There's that privacy at the top. I'd say unlisted is definitely the one you want to go with to start with. Categories, comments if you want them. And again, this is going to be different for everyone here. Some of the people, of course, I want comments. I want people to engage with my videos. Other people might not want comments on there. The video statistics, again, I don't really care, so I leave mine on. But a company that was sensitive about that or didn't want their competitors to see how many views they've got might want to turn that off. More on the connections side of things. If you want to, you can have YouTube auto-post to Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. By default, if you did that Google+ thing, it'll do that, but who cares, because no one's on Google+. But if you want it to matter, get it going to Facebook and Twitter. I love Google+, but no one's using the platform, so there's where it's at. On Facebook and Twitter, again, and this is kind of showing that the platform isn't really all that well thought out, they actually have that behind this YouTube settings. They should be in the Creator Studio, because that's the back end. That's where I want my creator to send out to Facebook. But for whatever reason, it's in this other place under the YouTube settings. And that's where you get these connected accounts. And that's where you can actually connect up to Facebook and Twitter and have it auto-post out when you finally publish that video after you set it from unlisted to publish, or when you want or like a video. Now, when you upload a video, this is the screen you're going to get. And you notice I've got a couple of things filled in. This is for a flashlight video that I've done on my YouTube channel. You can see here, here's the title. That's the most important piece of content you can put into this thing. So when you consider your title, consider the one phrase or one piece of content that is going to get people to click on your video. I'm really boring. I do this stuff like really straightforward. Claris XT2C review. Pretty boring, right? From an SEO perspective, though, that's really good. This video is going to show up in searches where someone's searching for that flashlight, or if they're searching for reviews, or if they're on another video that's similar to this one, they might see that. But if you guys want to get like more on the social side, more on the viral side, you might want to try messing around with that title and doing something more contentious, doing something more emotional than my really direct kind of strategy here. You'll see that I've also got I've got a link to a written article that I've got in the description there. That hasn't done anything for me. No one clicks from YouTube to my website. I do it anyways, but I'm just saying don't expect anything from that. And then another really important thing here is these tags at the bottom. Because how's YouTube supposed to tell what's actually in that video? They don't have an algorithm that can see that that's a flashlight. There's no way. So the only way they know what the video is about is by you telling them. For SEOs out there, we used to do this with a lot of like tags and stuff like that, and we would like pillage those tags because they were the way to get traffic. On YouTube, that's the way it's still working. It's like it's practically prehistoric in the way that you can work it, but work it while that's the way it works, because just adding these correct tags in is going to get your video showing up more on other people's videos that are similar or when people are searching. You'll notice over here there's the setting of public. Here's where I can send it out on my social media. I can add it to a playlist if I want to. So once you start getting enough videos, you can start doing playlists of your own and start to kind of collect those. And one of the really cool things you can do with a playlist is add a whole bunch to a list and then have them autoplay for the next one. So someone starts watching the first video, gets to the end, right to the next video after that. Those are really cool. That's one way to get your views per person way up. because otherwise that person's on to something else. They've also got an analytics dashboard in the back end. Here's where you can see how many views you've got, how many minutes people watch, what you've made over it over the past period. You can see likes, dislikes, YouTube's really great for the statistics that they show you. They're going to show you all sorts of crazy things. You can look at one particular video and find out when people leave. See when the average drop-off is, which is kind of cool. You can say, oh man, they left after 3 minutes. What did I do at 3 minutes? Was it just getting too boring? Do I need to amp it up a little bit? Was that when I started droning on? Maybe I need to edit this video and tweak it. So you can get that feedback back rather than just throwing this stuff up and getting a paycheck back kind of a thing, right? So that was about the channel. The next thing I wanted to talk about was shooting the actual video. What do you do for actually on the production side of things? Now, one option, you can get a professional video crew like these guys to shoot, and you're going to get a better video doing that than doing it by yourself, just flat out. They've got better equipment. They've got training for this stuff. This is actually kind of hard to do. There's an art form to this. I don't do the art of it. I just do I need it nice and clear and easy to see kind of a thing. But even that took me a really long time to get to. So at least from a shooting video point of view, that's one option. But it's not for everyone. If you're a dog grooming company, you can't afford to spend money to get a professional video company to record some after the dog groomer tips kind of a thing, right? You need to be able to shoot that on your own, inexpensively, so that you can deliver it back to your customers. So here's a couple of options. Option number one, smartphone. Some of the pros to a smartphone for video, it's convenient. It's in your pocket, or your purse, or whatever. It's fast to upload. There's a YouTube app for iPhones and Androids. You can upload to YouTube direct. It's fast. And the autofocus is kind of okay. It's not that bad. Some of the disadvantages, it's got a fixed zoom. Yes, you can do the digital zoom where you pinch in and you zoom in on it. It sucks. It looks like crap. They can't really handle dark scenes. You'll find in dark scenes you're either going to get really, really black or really, really white, and you'll get a lot of green in there. And you can't really tripod mount them. You could use a selfie stick, but that's not really professional looking, right? The next thing up is point and shoot. Lots of guys out there have point and shoots. They're cheap. Hey, now we've got a little bit of zoom. You can actually zoom into something. We're using an optical zoom, not a digital zoom. Some of the disadvantages of them, the microphone on these suck. They suck bad. A lot of them don't have the capability to add in an external microphone like this or like this little guy over here. They're bad in dim lighting, and you can't change lenses. That little dinky lens that's on the front there, that's the one you've got, and that's the one you're going to use. The next one up, and I think this is probably one of the better options for people out there if you're looking to do shot video instead of stuff that's recorded on screen, is a camcorder. And camcorders these days are pretty good. We've got loads of zoom associated with these things. They've got pretty good autofocuses, which is important because most of the time, if you're trying to do this on the cheap, you don't have a professional videographer doing pull focus and manual on you. You need to use the autofocus. They've got an okay internal mic. It's still not perfect, but it's okay. They usually have capacity to add an external. You can tripod mount them. They're somewhat inexpensive. They've got a flip screen, so if you're going to do something where you're looking into the camera, you can flip that little screen around and kind of see if you're in the right spot, see if you're showing those things. Disadvantages, you can't really change the lenses on them. And the last one I wanted to talk about was a DSLR. With a DSLR, you can change the lenses, which is maybe useful, maybe not. With a DSLR, you'll be starting with maybe a kit lens that it starts in there. And some of these are pretty good. This one is Canon's STM. So this one, what that means is that it focuses silently, which is really important for video if you're using the onboard microphone. Because if you have one that goes click, 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 it'll pick up on the video. And that sucks. The disadvantage, this built-in, this lens that came with this camera, the quality on it is not the best. To get better quality, I'd have to run, let's see here. a big aftermarket lens like this one. This is a Sigma 18 to 30 or something like that. The advantage with this one, the aperture can go a lot wider on it. It's way sharper than that built-in lens that I showed you. The disadvantage, it clicks, so I got to do something with the audio. Some of the other advantages of an SLR, you can add an external microphone. This one's actually got level adjustments on it too, so I can adjust the level up and down for my external microphone. You can tripod mount them so that I can have them steady and sitting somewhere. The disadvantages, the autofocus on these things still isn't as good as on camcorders. It's still going to hunt and peck for trying to get focus on it, and that kind of sucks. Some of the lenses are loud, and this is by far the most expensive option to go. But you know, on the other side, a DSLR can do a really nice picture. You can go really wide on the aperture, so you can get a really cinematic look where just you're in focus and the background's really well blurred out. You can do that because you can get that aperture nice and wide. But it comes with a lot of disadvantages on top of it. And the barrier to entry on learning how to shoot well video with one of these things is more difficult than with a camcorder where it's point and shoot and you're going to get 90% of the way there. So that's just shooting that's just the equipment to shoot the video. And for that, most people will be good. But there's some other optional equipment that you can add on that makes your video a lot better. And one of them is lighting. Lighting, for me, is one of those things where you can really amp up your game. And it's one of the things that I see on a lot of YouTube videos out there where it sucks. So when it comes to lighting, more is almost always better. And I'm not saying that from like a creative point of view. I'm saying that from like most YouTube videos out there, the lighting is awful. You need to add more light, more clean light. It lets you shoot with lower ISO, which is going to make it less grainy. It's going to go. You're going to be able to do a tighter aperture if you want to, which is going to make more in focus. And you can use a higher frame rate. You can change the colors of lighting. Just to show you an example, this is an example of a video shot with poor lighting in it. You can see that we're getting a lot of really grainy kind of video in here, right? The guy's face is all red and it doesn't look all the best, right? Now, that said, this video's got like 1 million views, so what the heck do I know, right? Some options. Option number 1, natural lighting. Some of the advantage of it, hey, it's really bright. Awesome. Pretty much any camera will be able to operate in natural lighting. It's free. Some of the disadvantages, at least here in Alberta, our daylight hours are really small. And me, I've got 2 kids, 3 and 6. I can't shoot during the day. If I were to shoot video during the day, I'd have kids like knocking on the door, Daddy, I'm fighting with it, and it doesn't work. And the other disadvantage, it doesn't move. So if you have one really nice south-facing window, you got a white drape on there, it's giving you a gorgeous white light, but then you need it in a different room or you need it from a different angle, you can't get it. It's only coming from the one place. And right now in Edmonton, it's just kind of over the horizon. It's so depressing. So how do you get some more light? One of the options is LED. And LED, the advantage of it, some of these have control, so you can actually dial it up or dial it down. They're not really bulky. They're generally easier to move around, and they're a little bit more portable. You can bring an LED lighting setup to a location, and it probably won't break. They're expensive per lumen, though. They're efficient, they're expensive. To get a grid that's going to do a lot of power, you're going to be paying quite a bit more. The more inexpensive version is to go CFL. Now, compact fluorescent lighting kind of a thing, right? Less control because you can't really dim fluorescents. They're fragile. If you drop one over on a lamp or something like that, it'll break and it'll spread mercury dust all over the place for you to inhale and all that kind of stuff. But you get a ton of light for your dollar, and you can use it in a lot of fixtures out there. You can start off with this in a lamp and just run them off of a lamp. Now, this is what most people think of when they think CFL bulbs, but this isn't actually the one you should be using. This is like a normal lighting CFL. What you need is a high CRI bulb, one that's specific for videography, and they look something like this. They're a lot different looking. I've got one of these here, and you can see this is a lot bigger than your typical bulb that's kind of hanging in your bathroom or whatever, right? This is a lot more watts as well. This is 135 watts. Whereas that guy, that one I was showing you, that was like a 13-watt bulb. So there's a marked difference in the quality of lighting and in the power that you get with one of these things. And this isn't expensive. This is a part of a kit. I think I spent $60 and I got like 2 of these things. I got 2 of these dishes and light bulbs on these things. This is a lot of power. This is a lot more light that you can use to get all those things I was showing you. Lower ISO, tighter aperture, better quality images. I run them something like this. And that's because I just want more power. I don't know, I'm kind of like the Tim Allen, I guess, of lighting. Too old of a joke, eh? Yeah. You can see here I'm just running some reflector umbrellas. Those things are $10 a pop. This is not expensive like photography stuff or anything. Those are $10 a pop. I got them on some $10 stands, and I'm running like a little head out of there to bump those lights on there. And what that's doing is giving me a ton of light. It's a little harsh because I'm not running it through like a white modifier or anything like that. But because those bulbs are big enough and because I've got this reflector here, close enough. If you're using small products and you're doing like product reviews or you're doing shots for a company, you might want to use a light tint. And I think I've got one right here. Props. Here, can you hold that one? Fill the time, fill the time. No dead air. These are kind of fun. So these are collapsible. They're really easy to bring around, and hopefully I don't hit anyone with this. You can do it controlled, but why? And the advantage of running one of these is that you can put lights around this to bathe that product in this nice, bright, white glow and really nuke it with light, which is nice if you've got a product or something that you're trying to show that's dark or that's kind of hard to catch otherwise. This next one here, so this is a black flashlight. Just keep that in mind. So I'm nuking my hand. My hand is completely overblown on this. I don't care. Because what I'm trying to show is that black flashlight and show the detail on it. By putting it in this light tint and running lights on the outside of it, I've got really nice, all-encompassing light going around that flashlight. And that's something that's hard to do if I'm not inside that tent. Any questions about that? This thing's 30 or 40 bucks. You can get them off Amazon. Any? So the way you do it is you don't. I don't actually shoot the tent. I've got like they come with a backdrop that you have, and I ironed mine, and I make it so that like the cat can't go on it because I don't want hair on the damn thing, and my kids can't play with it because it'll wrinkle too. But they've got these little clips at the back. And then you run a backdrop. You kind of run it smoothly, and it'll give you like an infinite background where it's just, you see there, it's all white in the back. You can't see anything. Otherwise, yeah, it's really wrinkly and kind of ugly looking. Any other questions about light tints? Really cheap if you're doing something small. They come in smaller sizes than this, which I'd recommend. This is kind of big, but also has a little bit more room. That's lighting. The next part I wanted to talk about was sound. Now, the reason why I want to talk about sound is that the built-in microphones that are on cameras, usually they'll catch camera sound. So if you're using a camera that focuses and the lens makes some sound, you're going to start to hear those sounds on camera. And like I was showing you before, I've got that really awesome lens, but it clicks, click, 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 click. And I don't want that showing up on my video. Built-in microphones, they'll generally catch a little bit more echo. This is omnidirectional, which means that it's catching sound from all around the camera. It's not just catching what I'm looking at. Can't handle wind, and it's terrible in a loud environment. If I was at a trade show and I was recording someone, I would be just as likely to hear a conversation to my right than I am to hear that conversation that I want to record of that person in front of me. So I might need to add something to get better sound. Option number one is a lav mic. I'm wearing a wired one right now, which is really nice, and it's probably picking up like awesome audio. If you're cheap, you can pick up a wired unit. This is a really messy wired unit, but this is something that you can easily use to plug into a DSLR or one of those options to give you some better audio. This is going to make it so that I'm not catching sound around, I'm just catching the sound off of me, and you'll generally want to place it right about here. That's going to give good sound from your voice. The disadvantage to a lav mic is that it picks up clothing noise, and it's a little bit more, just more stuff to do, more stuff to put on and wear and have on your body. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to set up and tear down. When I'm doing videos, I find I'm making the most of them when it's easy to make them, when it's easy to set up and tear down. All this stuff is kind of bulky and it's got it kind of in the way, right? So when I'm setting up at home, I want to make it so it's easy to set up. The next option is to use an on-camera shotgun mic. It's called a shotgun mic because they're kind of long and you point them at what you want to shoot. This option is I think it's a Rode or Rode. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. But you can see it comes with a suspension system there. So even though it's on camera, it's going to kind of float a little bit, and it's not going to pick up as many vibrations from the camera or movements. So that's going to be a little bit better. Another option off that is an off-camera shotgun mic. This is an off-camera one. You can put it on your camera if you really want to, but really what this is best designed to do is to sit on a tripod or sit on something else and catch the sound that's directly in front of it. This is one that you could use and point at someone and not hear a lot of the other conversations around you. And if you were to be on a movie set, this is the kind of microphone you'd see like a boomer operator using. This is one where they'll have it kind of over the guy's head or over the person's head, and they'll be pointing down at them so that they can catch really good audio from that person talking. $20. This isn't the best stuff. It's better than what's on the camera. So this is, again, $20. I think the wired one was $15. Inexpensive stuff. If you're starting to get like visitors on your YouTube channel and you notice your audio's kind of echoey, kind of crappy, these are just some little upgrades you can do to make it better. Personally, this is how I have mine set up. Looks like crap, right? Works. I've just got some hooks and I've just got that thing hanging down. I don't need a boom operator. I've got my ceiling. It's my boom operator 100% of the time. And this is one way that I'm able to record videos without being wired up all the time. This thing's always sitting there. It's always easy. All I have to do is flip it on, and now I've got some audio coming off of it. That's a little bit better than what's on my camera. Any questions about sound? So if you're interested in learning more, YouTube's got this Creator Academy. It's free. They've got a pile of videos and a pile of kind of like online courses where you can learn more. This is actually, they just did this recent webinar series on lighting and on audio. It was a little bit next level, I guess. It wouldn't be great for a beginner or someone who's just trying to get into it, but not bad. And if you want somewhere to go to kind of take your skills to the next level, I encourage you to check that out. Questions?
Wow.
Yeah.
So just getting back to the views, because I'm looking at some material, and I just received it today. I'm looking at it, and it's got like 2,000 views. So the question I have, because I haven't actually gone through the video yet, are views counted the moment you hit play, or are they counted once the video actually ends?
Ooh, not when the video ends, because you can always have partial views. I'm not sure if it's right when it begins or if it's after 5 seconds. I'm not sure about the answer on that one. I know it from the advertising side of things. On the advertising side of things, people have to watch it for 30 seconds at least before it's considered a true view. I'm not sure on the consuming side of things what's considered a view. Good question, though. Yeah?
So for work, we have a YouTube channel. It has like more than 60 videos on there.
Yeah.
And it would take a lot of time to keep promoting. So what is the best way to promote?
Are you talking about organic or are you talking about like paid promotion?
Oh, it's all free. It's for people so.
What's the particular business?
It's Edmonton Southside, primarily
Mhm.
and exercise specialists. Everyone giving, free tips and recipes. So
There's a couple of things I've tried. There's a couple of things I've failed at. I've failed at like commenting on other people's videos and engaging with them on that side. You can engage with and collaborate with other YouTube creators. That's actually something that YouTube encourages, is for people to work together with other creators to kind of combine and make content that wasn't possible before. You can embed it on the pages where it makes sense. So if you're on a forum and they're saying like, oh, does anyone have any tips for this? You can say, yes, I've got one, and embed the video directly into those pages. But promotion is greatly varied depending on who your audience is and how you want to, how you can possibly get it out. That's what everyone's fighting to do, right? Is get more views on their video.
so basically, I guess just repeats, pushing it through Twitter, Facebook, any other channels, right?
I don't push mine that way. I go for more. I'm an SEO guy, so when I look at this and promotion on this, everything looks like a nail because that's my hammer. So what I do with my YouTube videos is make sure I'm using the title and the tags that people are searching for, so that they're going to organically find it. But by far, there's a bunch of other promotion you can do in terms of Twitter, in terms of collaboration, in terms of embedding it on the right pages to try to push it out there.
So how do you know if you have the right tags or not?
Are people viewing the video?
Some are and some are lagging.
Like, what's your view count on one of them for like a month?
One of them, which we won the board for, is over 2,500 views. And the other, maybe 20 views is the lowest.
The 20 isn't getting any organic traffic then. That's the one that you can look at and mess around with the tags on to see if you can get tags that might work a little bit better. That's where looking through the analytics to see where people are finding it and how they're finding it is going to help. They'll show where it's being referred to as a suggested video. That's kind of interesting. They'll show whether it's showing up in the YouTube search, and that's interesting as well. Or they'll show where it's being used embedded on someone else's site, and you can kind of find where, oh man, these guys embedded this video, but there's this better one that I've got for them. And then you can engage them and try to get that other video embedded over there.
Last question, Albert.
Yep.
So how do you dig deeper into those analytics? Because I've never seen that kind of.
Ooh, where do we got the analytics slide here? There it is. That's the. That's where this is where you see the analytics, and where you'd really want to dig into is the playback locations. And this is all per video, right? You can do it per video or overall. So you can look at playback locations, traffic sources, all this kind of thing to find out where those views are happening, and find where someone's referred to your video and you might not have even known about it. Good question. Yeah?
I'm just wondering, I saw you had a sheet there. Do you use green screen and how hard is that to use?
I don't use a green screen. I use like a white screen behind me, which is really boring. But if you haven't found out already, that's kind of me. I like boring and I like straightforward. But actually, the only reason I do that is because I'm shooting in a really small room. I can't afford to use like a big studio or anything like that. I think it would be more interesting to actually have some items in the background, maybe have like a lamp light on or something like that, make it look a little bit warm and inviting. But I don't have the room for it, so I literally use that white sheet because I don't want people to look at my ugly green wall. That's the only reason I use it. Yep. Sweet. There you go. I'm also like really, really low down on the video editing side of things. I just do the most basics kind of to get by. And anything with a green screen, I'm going to need to up my skills on video editing. So I'm keeping things simple for now. Go ahead.
How big does your channel have to be able to get money?
How big does your channel have to be to get money? Well, here's actually a really good snapshot of how many views you'll need to get for how much earnings. So I've got right around 50,000 views per month, and that's getting me $50 a month. So using that, you can kind of see what you need to do to get the revenue you need. Now, the thing that's going to accelerate your earnings or accelerate your views is getting more subscribers. I don't have that many subscribers. I think I got like 700 or something like that. Yeah, but it's increasing rapidly, right? I've just started to snowball this thing and add more and more and more on it. So that earnings number, this earning number is always going up for me, and the minutes is always going up for me, just because I'm constantly putting more content on. Because of the promotion strategy I've chosen with this, which is make videos that people are searching for, every video is adding on, adding on, adding on. I'm not doing a constant churn of putting a video out there, my subscribers all see it, and then no one else is going to look for it ever again. I'm trying to build on it as I go along, so I get a nice growth curve as I'm going along. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Another question?
So you're just using the organic, like YouTube, how it itself, you're not putting it on a blog or anything?
I put it on a blog and all this other place, but when I look at the actual traffic sources, it's all YouTube. I've got a sister blog to this thing that does 60,000 visitors a month, and it contributes very little to the views that are on this site. Maybe it helped get the additional like seed subscriber list kind of a thing, but it's when I look through my my traffic sources, it's all YouTube suggested video, YouTube search. It's just having more of the videos on there and more of those tags on there so that they can find it. I would have thought there would be some crossover. You know, I showed how I've got those links at the bottom in the description where people can go to the article, they can see, they can read it, they can see like I've taken these really nice HD like photos of some of the stuff that I've reviewed. Nobody clicks on them. It's like they're completely siloed. YouTube and the rest of the internet is like kind of siloed. If people are on YouTube, they're in like the YouTube watching environment. They want to watch the videos, they want to watch more videos. So the thing that I'm trying to do, like I've tried it and failed. I've tried it to get that crossover going, and all signs point to it doesn't work. So what I've tried to do is get videos that are part of a playlist, so that if when someone watches a video, they watch the next one in my playlist. Or get videos where I have some sort of call to action in the video, and the call to action is to watch another video. That's another way of me trying to, when I get someone in there, to try to get them to watch more and more and more of them. Yeah?
Okay, following up on monetization, what about securing one's own advertisers? Like you've got like the Dove campaign or whatever in front. So let's say, for example, I wanted to solicit certain advertisers to go with the videos. How does that work?
If you have enough subscribers, that's where you'll end up getting to. I'm not there yet. I've had a couple of people throw like some free crap at me, and generally haven't done a lot of it because I don't really care. Like this is a hobby for me. I don't look at that $50 as like this is ever going to be my full-time job. But that's an entirely different play. One thing I will make note of: if you get a YouTube channel going, eventually you're going to be solicited by what's called an MCN, a multi-channel network kind of a thing. Say no. Because what they're going to do is they're going to say, we're going to promote your video and do all this stuff. We'll take a 30% cut, but we're going to grow your network. And it's just a load of crap. It's totally not above board. They're just going to take 30% of whatever $50 you're making, and that's it. They won't respond to your emails. They won't do anything for you. So if you get solicited by an MCN, no way. If you want to talk to a Dove, you got to do your own PR kind of thing to try to get it attached to those guys, or they have to find you. I'm not big enough yet. Dove's not looking for me. Don't have the face for it. Other questions? Yeah, in the back.
Quite a while ago, I was told that 3 minutes is the maximum that generally people like. So is that true? And secondly, in an ideal world, how frequently would you add new video?
New video, as often as you can possibly do it. That's going to just add to the amount of subscribers you get. The thing about subscribers is that people subscribe on the idea that you're going to be putting out more video. So if you've got months between your videos and people see that, they may be less likely to subscribe to you. Your other question. 3 minutes is the average that people will spend watching a YouTube video. It doesn't necessarily mean that's the right length of video for you. There's a ton of people out there who are doing super long, like hour-long videos, and that's right for them. So I wouldn't look at any of those as a what's the right amount of time to put into a YouTube video. I'd look into it as a what do you want to do for your subscribers? What kind of video do you want to do? I've done videos that have been 2 minutes, where it's like, here's this thing, here's something that you might not have known about it. I want to show something really specific about it. I'm in, I'm out, I'm done. And then I've got some other ones where they're 30 minutes where I get really in depth on something. And you'll see in your engagement reports whether that's matching your audience or not. Because if they drop out after the 3 minutes on the 30-minute video, you did something wrong on the 30-minute video. But there's tons of them out there that buck that trend. So it's not a hard and fast rule at all. On the advertising side of things, for a business, yeah, I want to keep it short. If you're on the creation side, whatever matches what people are looking for. Another question?
I've tried several times to upload a video that's more than, that's about an hour. And YouTube always kicks me out. I've never been able to upload it. I'm verified, everything. Is there a browser that is better? Is there something in the
It might be a file size thing.
coding that I'm not doing right?
So I don't know what the answer to that is. I know a workaround. The workaround would be to chop it in half, upload them both, and then go into just if below this tab here, there's this Creator Studio. Go in there and glue those videos back together, and then make them on the YouTube platform. It might be like a file size thing, getting it up there. It might be a browser. So I'm not sure what the answer to that is. I'm saying that's a viable workaround, is just splitting them and gluing them back together on the platform. Yeah.
About how long does it take you to do a video, and how many, what's your release schedule? Like, how often does a video come out for you?
I'm trying to do one a week, but some weeks I put it, like this week I put out 3 because I did a whole bunch of little ones. I pulled out my light tent. I'm like, man, I should show people this light tent. And then since I had it out, I did like 3 rapid fire videos for it, which is kind of abnormal for me. But I don't really have a release schedule. For me, it takes, to do a 10-minute video, it'll take 10 minutes for setup, 5 minutes for me to build kind of like a pseudo script. I don't do a script, I'll do like an outline, and I'll have it next to me so I can remember the big points that I want to hit. I hate annotating videos afterwards and being like, oh, actually, I meant this, or no, I forgot about this thing over here. And the other thing, those annotations on videos, they only work on the desktop. A lot of mobile devices, the YouTube player doesn't support those yet. So you could annotate and be like, actually, I meant this, and you'll get all sorts of comments about people like ripping you apart on your YouTube channel, which is going to happen anyways. But where am I at? Okay, so 5-minute video, 10 minutes to set up, 5-minute script, editing for as long as the video is at least, because I'm going to watch the whole thing and make sure that nothing went weird or the focus wasn't completely bad. I might have to reshoot it. So all in all, for that 10-minute video, maybe like 30 to 40 minutes put into it. And then upload and put a description on all that kind of stuff.
So about an hour per
10? Something like that, yeah. Longer if you need to do a bunch of video editing. Yeah?
So I'm wondering, I'm a wedding videographer, so I'm not really so concerned with the monetization of things.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering, and I'm not sure if you have a huge network set up, but for me, I always try to drive through my YouTube to my website and get everything going back to my website. So
Yeah.
how does it work, overall? Do you find YouTube helps you? And you have a lot more traction than me, with 2,000 views a month. So how does it work going through your whole network?
It doesn't.
Doesn't it?
No, it sucks. It's like those people on YouTube are like stuck on YouTube. I've tried a couple of different things. I've done like call to actions in the video where it's like, I got some better pictures on my website. Go there if you want to see them. And I've done the description thing where I've got them in the bottom there, and neither of them really work. No, it might work for you. It totally doesn't work for me. Yeah. Yeah. So that's actually a really good question. How do you check for interest in the video if you don't know? One of the things you might want to try is keyword research. If there's interest for it in Google, there might be interest for it in YouTube. To do keyword research, you can use Google Trends. Google Trends is free. You can punch in an idea, and you can get back whether there's searches for it or not. That's one way of finding out. The other one would be to use Google's AdWord keyword tool. That one, you have to have an AdWords account for it, but it's a lot better. It's going to give you more data than Trends. That's at least going to tell you whether there's search volume for it, and it's also going to tell you if your topic title is wrong. So if I put Claris XT2C review, and I get back from Google Claris XT-2C review, that's interesting. I want to match what people are searching for. I want to match what they're looking for so that I'm getting something that, that already has latent demand. So that's one way of doing it, is to do that keyword research. YouTube doesn't have keyword research in it, but Google does. So I would use that one to find out if there'd be interest, at least without doing any other kind of market research. That might be a cheap and cheerful way of doing it. Other questions? Yeah?
So if you're not doing a lot of production, and I work for a nonprofit, and I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to create awareness programs that we offer, and we don't have budget to do production. I don't have a lot of time to do production. So does the playlist help you to draw, I guess people to your site or to your channel, instead of production? Does that help, or because if you don't have the production dollars, I guess is it worth it even getting into a channel?
It depends on what you want to do. Like my production value is DSLR and a couple of little lights and that kind of thing. And that's enough to get traffic to my website and be better. Like I look at my competitors at who else does these kind of reviews that I do. And a lot of them are doing them like cell phones, their audio sucks, their quality of lighting sucks. So you can be better than a lot of those YouTube channels just by doing some of these basics here. Do you guys know about Google's grants for nonprofits? They will give you like a pile of free AdWords money if you sign up with them and you qualify. They'll do up to $10,000 in AdWords for a qualified nonprofit. So if you're on a nonprofit and you're not doing Google grants, you should be doing Google grants. I've got more information about that, about Google grants on the TopDraw website blog. So go to topdraw.com/blog. Go to the blog, and if you just need to go down, I think 6 articles, and we've got one on the Ad Grants platform. But it's awesome. If you're a nonprofit, you've got to be in there. That's free money.
That's in Canada.
In Canada, we've got 3 customers that are doing like $10,000 a month. That's free from Google that they can spend on their ad platform. It's in kind, right? But it's still otherwise real cost. And on the promotion side of things, wow, yeah, like $10,000 worth of promotion that you otherwise can't get.
Thanks.
Yeah. Other questions? Yeah.
You addressed this, and I'm just wondering if you could just slightly elaborate on file size of a completed product and then upload time.
It depends on your, I don't know, I've got like SHA 100, so it's pretty fast, but my file sizes, I'm doing most of mine right around the 15-minute mark, and most of those are 2 gigs, 3 gigs kind of a thing. So make sure that your connection is good. If you're outside of the city and you've got one of those like radio tower connections, you're screwed, because those things, like they have a bandwidth cap that's pretty low, and you're gonna nail it doing this kind of stuff. This is like, every week I'm uploading like 2, 3, 4 gigs of video data to YouTube. I couldn't do that if I didn't have like a really killer broadband connection. Does that answer your question?
Kind of. I was just wondering, because there was an organization in town,
Mm-hmm.
Edmonton, that I worked with, and the file size that our videographer was uploading wasn't humongous. It was like, 5 meg or 5 gigs, big deal. But it just took forever, and it was in the downtown core. It's like,
How long is forever?
it was a 6-hour job.
Well, that's a little bit too long. That's really slow.
Excessive.
Huh. I mean, there's 2 things to consider here. One is your local connection. The other one's YouTube. If YouTube's really busy, YouTube's got to be in some data server somewhere. So if you're uploading during a busy time for YouTube, it might be a little bit slower on their end. I've had times where I've tried to upload a 2 gig file and be like, oh my God, this is taking forever. And then other times where, again, I've got kids. I can't do this stuff when my kids are up. So I'm doing this stuff at like 11 o'clock at night where it's blazing fast. So it might just be a timing thing where you need to do it off hours to get it to go up a little bit faster. Yep.
Do you recommend using like Handbrake or whatever to condense them, or
Using, sorry, what?
Handbrake? I guess there's this thing called Handbrake where you bring your video in its form and it compresses it and does all this other stuff, and then it makes it smaller.
Maybe, I don't know. I just use I use Windows Movie Maker, and it's condensing it kind of, and then putting it up to YouTube. There's other software out there that's obviously going to be better than that.
Do you go direct from Movie Maker to YouTube or computer?
No, computer and then upload. And that's just because I'm lazy and I don't want to get the Microsoft account that you need to do the YouTube thing. I'm also a little bit paranoid that they're going to downsize the quality of it, so I save it to my computer. I check the quality, make sure that they haven't monkeyed around with it too much, and then I upload it to YouTube and it's pillaged and they put their compression algorithm on it. It looks like crap. Other questions? Yeah.
What do you recommend as far as promoting your video, when you shoot a video, using something like, I don't know if you ever heard of BombBomb, that goes direct to video, or Hootsuite for tracking YouTube? Does that work with YouTube?
Because I'm an SEO guy, I'm really hardcore on my tracking, so I'm using a Google Sheet with API calls to YouTube to get it into a big Excel spreadsheet. But there's got to be easier ways out there to do it. I mean, the very basis of it, if you want to track views and that kind of stuff, yeah, YouTube recently has this thing called YouTube Real Time, where they'll show here's how many people have watched your video in the last 5 minutes. That's going to tell you whether a video is going viral or not. And they didn't have that before. Before it was well, here's some data from 2 days ago kind of a thing. Now at least they'll show you a little bit more up to date. But as far as seeing promotion and doing that kind of thing, depends on how you want to promote it. I just do the direct stuff because, again, I'm doing an organic play on this thing. I'm doing a search play. Other questions? Yeah.
If you're doing a tutorial and it's going to be an hour, would you recommend doing the sequence and doing part 1, 2, 3, and then maybe that would help you get subscribers, or would you do the long video?
I guess it depends if it would be easily chunk up, if you could chunk it up a little bit. I found with my longer ones that I end up doing just the longer video anyways. YouTube's pretty good about understanding the difference between those things. It's good at understanding how long people are watching and the engagement they've got with those videos. So from a promotion side of view, maybe from a promotion side, because you get to talk about it 4 different times. From having the video up there, I don't know if it would make a bunch of difference. Okay. Okay, one more question. Yeah, go ahead.
Are there any trends, looking at, say, business videos in general, have you noticed any trends happening?
Like what kind of trends?
Just as it's been around longer and people are using it in a different way, or often things that used to be cool or acceptable after a while aren't?
Used to be cool and acceptable. I don't know. YouTube's so weird because there's so many different weird things happening in it. The thing that I think is really interesting is that more people are applying a professional attack at it. Right? The amateurs that are out there have either gone professional in their gear and their setup and their recording, or they've been superseded by people who weren't necessarily experts in their niche, but are just better videographers, better cinematographers, more interesting in the way that they display their content. That's been clear to me in a lot of different niches. The video game guy recording people playing video games, that kind of thing, that's one of them where it's clear that there's more professionalism being put into that and it's less amateurish. And that's because there's some real money here, right? There's a promise of real money behind this, so the pros are going to start coming out and doing this kind of stuff. So that's one thing I've noticed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adriel. Give a round of applause.